Hi, I'm Noel New, the songwriting therapist, and I want to talk about venting versus complaining. So, when we have a big feeling, we're upset about something, we are concerned with the outcome of something that happened, or will happen, different things that we can really need and want to not only vocalize, but to express with somebody that we trust. Well, when we partake in that interaction, that can be called venting. I need to vent my feelings. I need to express my thoughts. I need to share with somebody, how I feel about something. A very good practice, especially when you have certain people that you can practice with, where you just vent it and they hold the space and you let it go. So just like air comes through a vent, right? The same thing. The air comes through the vent. It doesn't stick on the vent. It just flows through. Now, what does stick is dust particles and things like that, and eventually that clogs either the airflow out on the vent or the return back in. Little AC, analogies for you, air conditioning. But the reality is the vent allows the flow to go through, and whatever gets stuck needs to be cleaned, and that's what we could call complaining. Complaining is the residue that we get stuck in when we're venting. So it starts off as venting. I just need to share with you how I feel, and I start sharing and sharing and sharing, and then I get caught in it, and then it's like a loop. And no, I don't feel relieved. I might feel a little bit energy shifted, but I'm still like, grr, and also when I'm complaining, I need you to back me up. I need you to agree. I need you to feel similarly. I need you to validate, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you. That's the difference between venting and complaining. When I vent out, I don't need that. Of course, I preferably would like to be validated for how I feel. So I guess now that I'm talking about it, I do need validation that I'm upset. But what I'm actually, the content with which I'm putting out there, I don't need you to agree with it. I don't need you to co-sign it, enable it in any way. I just need you to listen and hold the space. That's venting. But in complaining, and I will use the word but here, in complaining, I need you to agree, consent, co-sign this information. And if you don't, you are not helpful to me, and I may complain about you. So in complaining, we get stuck. So if you think about venting as literally a vent from an air conditioner, and the air flows through, and the complaining is the residue that gets built up, the dust. If you keep that stuff in, eventually it'll stuff your flow, and eventually we start complaining not just outwardly but inwardly. And that leads to depression, anxiety, all these challenging mental obstructions, call them mental illnesses. But different things that obstruct our flow of life, and as I like to say, the feeling of freedom and fulfillment. So venting, a really important way to release feelings, have them held in a space and let go. And complaining is getting stuck in it and not being able to release. And when I'm not able to release those feelings, they build their own pressure system and their own residue, and that ends up with, very illnesses, a variety of illnesses. So let's, shift our complaints to vents and let them go. And sometimes we might have to vent again. It's okay, as long as we know that we're not holding on to the resentment that is still potent and still keeping us in that system of complaining. Because part of venting is I let go of all of it. I just let it go. I vent it, including my dislike, distaste, discontent with whatever happened. I just, and I let go. I vented it. Sometimes I might have to vent a couple times. But complaining, and again, I'm using the but. I don't usually like to use that. But I'm not discounting venting. I am saying, here's how complaining really detracts from productive and proactive living. Is I'm stuck in it. And it doesn't matter. Even if you do agree with me, now you're going to start complaining. And now misery loves company. So complaining needs complainants. You know what I mean? And so, we'll just all be miserable together. So I'd rather us all to be able to hold the space and release and relieve ourselves with that connection with each other so that we're not stuck in that challenging emotional impact of feeling hurt and scared and upset and grief and loss. And we can vent that through and let go of the loops of complaints that keep us stuck and just in a mire that holds back ourselves, our families, our societies, our communities, and our world. So next time you feel like you're complaining, just check yourself, open up to, I just want to vent this, and the key to venting it is to let it go after it's done. I may need to rinse and repeat, but my goal is to let it go.